All right. Good evening, folks. Basically, now the time is around 10:20, 10:25 here in Singapore, and probably 10:25 Eastern Standard Time. Really early in Europe, so I don't see any Europeans up at the moment. The whole idea of today's episode is just to give you all an idea about why, when, and how to use Bitmex, or at least from my standpoint, how do I use Bitmex? A lot of people are using Bitmex at the moment because they feel that it is the best way of turning a profit, or at least trying to turn a profit in the cryptocurrency space. So I realized that a lot of the current signal groups are just turning to Bitmex because of the leveraging factor, and people are able to put in very little of their capital, and yeah, they are able to kind of focus on just making money over Bitmex. So my question right now to you is, are you using it in the right way? So perhaps maybe I'll just share from my standpoint how I am using Bitmex, and then from then perhaps you can incorporate my strategies for your own portfolio and your own personal preference. Okay, so let me just go to the charts right now. Okay, so today we actually have BTC looking pretty strong. At the moment we are looking at the fact that we are trending around $6,900. We had a very strong kind of movement upwards in the past 24 hours, about 3%, and that has been pretty much quite favorable in all aspects. So what I want to highlight is that right now, if we are experiencing quite a number of days of a rally, okay, the whole cryptocurrency market has now added 10 billion in terms of its overall market cap. Yesterday, when I did the stream, it was at 215 billion. Now it's at 225 billion. So the Bitcoin dominance, the 24-hour volume is about 12.9. It's still more or less kind of healthy for the current range. I wouldn't say it's very healthy, but 53% BTC dominance. We had a nice altcoin rally. We had Ethereum back up from 275 to 285. Ripple not trading it too much, 525 for Bitcoin Cash. Now it's 544. EOS was around $5, low $5. Now it's about 535. Stellar at 22 cents. Litecoin at 60.25. We have Cardano at 10 cents. I think it rallied a little bit, about 9.77%, not too bad. IOTA 15.56%. Monero at 8.59%. Neo doing pretty well as well. Neo and Dash doing pretty well, 22.43%. And then we have Neo at 13.35, VeChain 15.53. So in all aspects, right now altcoins seem to be moving in tandem together with the Bitcoin price. So my only concern right now is, why is this whole movement sustainable? As of now, I don't feel that the whole movement is sustainable, but we are seeing higher highs. That is a good thing for the overall markets. Okay, so now to come to the topic of today, why, when, how to use Bitmex. So for me personally, right, I use Bitmex as a hedging tool. I don't use it purely for taking profit. It's more of protecting my existing position. So what do I usually tend to do in terms of when I trade on Bitmex? Okay, my objective is very simple. I have an X amount of position in Bitcoin, okay, and I would like to protect the downside, or I want to capitalize on the downside risk without having to sell a good portion of my Bitcoins. Yes, I can always tether my Bitcoins out if I feel that the levels have reached a certain resistance. Okay, so for example, right now the resistance seems to be about $7,140 on BTC. Could I potentially wait for that level and then tether out? Sure, you can. In fact, I strongly encourage people to kind of look at profiting directly. That means you don't use derivative products. In this case, Bitmex is a derivative product, and it's available on this platform called Bitmex, right? So for me, I keep things very, very simple. I have a position of BTC. I use a very small amount. In this case, as you can see from my account here, it's only 0.58 BTC, right? And I use it as a hedge. So right now I have a position where I believe that Bitcoin will not go past $6,900. Well, it did kind of trend to 6,950 very much in the intraday, where there was, I think, in the last 1 hour or so, it did do that very quickly, and then after that it came down. So my belief is that, okay, being that it has already run up quite a bit from the 6,600 level to where it is right now, which is $300 more from the current price, I believe that the price should come down. So in my case, I do not want to sell any of my current Bitcoin positions, but what I would like to do is use Bitmex as a form of hedging to sell down. So when I sell down, I decide to do a short at 6,909. As you can see, this is my entry price, and yeah, so my liquidation price is 7,234, which is above the cloud. In this case, if you're looking at the Ichimoku cloud, it has a resistance of 7,140. So I am not purely using this as a means of like making profits on a daily basis. I'm just here to use it to protect my position. So there are people who are, full-time traders who trade clearly on the futures. Okay, it is a very highly leveraged environment, and when you do use Bitmex, bear in mind that you want to be more on the conservative side rather than the aggressive side. Yes, there are times when you can go a little bit more, as in you can put in more leverage, but I feel that when you put in more leverage, you have to have an objective. Do you feel that it is at a very, very strong support or resistance level that you know that you have a strong amount of certainty that it's going to go in your direction? But why not just play safe and go for a more conservative, say 3x or 5x, rather than a 10x or a 25x and above, right? So always have an objective in mind. So for me, like I said, my when is when I feel that, okay, Bitcoin prices have gone up way too much, and I feel that there is an opportunity that the overall market will decide to take profit. In this case, like today, I feel that they are going to be taking profit. I may be wrong, but overall, so far, I have been using it to my advantage. There are times that I do get stopped out, but even if I do get stopped out, it's okay, because my intention is very, very clear. I'm only protecting my main position of BTC. Now, could you also, now the question to you is, do you want to protect your whole, probably the questions that I get are, do I protect my whole Bitcoin position? Do I protect half of it or a quarter of it? That's entirely up to you, right? So if I feel that a good portion of the market will be selling down, say maybe Friday, it's usually a very strong take profit day, I would probably do a position that will protect half of my Bitcoin position, okay? And if I get it right, okay, I do profit quite significantly. As of now, okay, as you can see, my little position is already up 5.11%. This current position is on a 20x leverage, okay? So this is kind of like how I strategize and how I think in terms of the way I make a decision. So if you look at the charts, right? Okay, as you look at the charts right now, it is already showing signs of a reversal, or at least profit taking. Now, the only question is, where will the consolidation point be? This is a, we can go to the 4-hour candles. So yeah, so where is the new consolidation going to be? It's going to be very nice to see. I personally like to see BTC at a new level rather than I would rather see a new level rather than an older level. I seriously do not want to see a 6,400. I hope to see the Bitcoin price to sustain above 6,700. That's where I feel that it would be a good level to kind of correct to. But if we look at the whole, even if it sustains at 6,800, I'm also pretty happy. I prefer that the whole market will sustain itself at a new level so that we know that we are trending upwards, guys. Because it's already coming to the end of the year. Like I said before, I don't anticipate a very strong bullish market. I only hope to see that people will start to be a little bit more conscientious about how they use different types of derivative products. I'm sure as the market matures, you'll see more derivative products, more leveraging platforms. Right now, I know that there's eToro, there is Bitmex, right? I'm sure you probably can do leveraging on Huobi, and I'm not sure whether you can use it on Binance, but overall, the space is starting to turn towards the whole leveraging, and it's very scary when you start to use leverage unnecessarily, okay? But there are times when you should be using derivative products, and you should be using it to your advantage because you want to protect your position. So kind of like this is where I see the markets going. If we look at Ethereum, okay, let's have a look at Ethereum. Ethereum doesn't look too good at the moment. Personally, I feel that Ethereum is just looking very bad. It doesn't seem to have much volume. Surprisingly, I did manage to capitalize on Ethereum yesterday, but it was so weak. Like I did a long at 275 and I took profit at 287. It was just a $10 profit. It's so weak, guys. It doesn't seem to be following the market at the moment, and probably when it does move, it will catch everybody off guard. I think nobody really wants to really move Ethereum for the fact that if you have ICOs are dying to cash out on whatever they raised. So I think at the moment now, at least it's kind of sustaining around the 275, 280, below 300 level. So if it sustains around those levels, right, I think safe to say that I think this kind of is the floor for now. It has been consolidating at least for the past few days, ever since the 15th till now. So you have about 15 days of a kind of a new consolidation point at the moment, consolidation range at the moment. So we have LTC. Let's take a look at LTC. How is LTC doing? Kind of same old if you look at it. All the charts, if you notice, look very similar. So that is why actually I was telling my private Discord group to use USD Tether instead of directly into BTC, because when you have BTC dominating and controlling so much of the movement, right, it's very hard to have, you want to have one foot on the ground. So taking profit into USD Tether ain't such a bad idea. Now, the only thing is about how much to take profit into. And so far, I think when the group starts to use Tether, right, they are able to kind of go in and out of positions with much more clarity. So it's more straightforward. Now, of course, I still believe that Bitcoin should be higher, probably end of the year. But with this kind of market sentiment where everybody is just thinking short term and only wanting to capitalize on looking at time frames of 1 hour, 4 hours, maximum 1 day, you are definitely disadvantaged, right? Because you are looking too short term that you don't see the longer term trend. And this is how I see the overall market at the moment. If you look at the charts where the take profits are, you clearly know what's going on. Okay, you look at the 1 hour and the 4 hours, everybody's trading the same damn thing. So right now, look forward to you have to kind of look forward to the bigger picture. So accumulation is still the key play here, right? Accumulation is still the key play, because right now we have already been decimated in terms of the overall market cap. A lot of the cryptocurrencies. Yesterday I did a stream about crypto dumpster diving, because every single crypto that we know has already taken a very, very huge hit. Okay, so if it's already discounted 60, 70, 80, some even 90%, even if you enter now, okay, even if you enter now with a very good dollar cost averaging strategy and allocation, the chances of it dropping another 50% from where you are at right now is lower, very, very much lower, because a lot of the news that has already appeared, for example, the ETF rejections have already been priced into the market. As you can see, the market doesn't really care. It just goes to show that the market is being controlled or moved by other factors. It's not really real news, okay? There was so much good news for every other single project, and it's like, I think it just boils down to whether or not these projects are working with market makers to move their tokens or not. Really, I mean, look, there's not enough liquidity, and for liquidity to come in so strongly in a 24-hour period, it's definitely not from the retail space. It's definitely from groups that are moving the markets, right? It may be the exchanges that are engaging market makers as well, right? They don't engage them directly. It's always a very, closed door kind of agreement, right? Because if you want your token to be listed on my exchange, how do I know that you're going to have volume on a daily basis for me to even list you, right? So after a while, tokens will want to be relevant, because how are you going to, as a retail investor, how are you going to even care or even bother to look at a token if it doesn't move, right? It's very simple. You as a company you are now listed on an exchange, right? That's where you get your eyeballs. Honestly, no one really gives a shit about your developments these days. It matters, but because the market has been so smashed, people are so discouraged that, you see, it's like people feel like, hey, you're not even taking care of me, right? You're not even taking care of your investors. But you know what? What are the teams always saying? We do not care about the price. It just goes to show that you are willingly funding my project because you believe in my development. However the token performs on the exchange is nothing to do with me. You see the language? Do you realize every single fucking AMA, when you do an interview, this is what all the founders are saying? But if you talk about a share, a stock on the NASDAQ or on the KOSPI or on the Singapore Stock Exchange, they tend to care. They will say, of course I want my shares to do well because you guys are owning equity. This is a token, right? It's just a representation of what it might be, because most of these tokens are ERC20. Rarely any of them have a mainnet, and even if they do have a mainnet, are you able to, as a retail investor, just an investor, non-coder, you're not someone who can do developing, that token is just purely speculative. So you have to have all these things in mind when you step into this space. A lot of people step into this space without realizing what needs to be done, right? They're just stepping into this space hoping to make a quick profit. Okay, so with that being said, I hope that this episode has helped you guys out. Feel free to comment below whether this episode was helpful or not. And of course, if you are not tuned in to my channel, feel free to subscribe, and don't forget to click on the notification button so that you don't miss any of the live streams. See you in the next episode, guys.